When your name's in lights, you'd better respond. 2 nights ago, America's most celebrated athlete provided another vivid demonstration of why Jordan rules.
You see the face on the TV screen, coming at you every Sunday. See the face on the billboard, well, that man is me. On the cover of the magazine, there's no question why I'm smiling. You buy a piece of paradise, you buy a piece of me.
In Game 1, Jordan hit Portland with a piece of history. A breathtaking display of marksmanship and flair. As he put it, not immodestly, just honestly, I even fascinated myself.
Jordan for 3, yes! That is an NBA Finals record. Michael following it back, up again, throws it down. Here's Jordan for 3, yes! Michael indicating he can't believe it.
And now, as Game 2 hits the air, America tunes in wondering, what does Air Jordan do for an encore?
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1992 NBA Finals. Tonight, Game 2 between the Portland TrailBlazers and the Chicago Bulls.
Chicago Stadium seen through the haze. The Portland TrailBlazers hoping to break out of the haze in which they played on Wednesday night as they were blown away 122-89. These fans still buzzing about Michael Jordan's performance. He holds the playoff record with 63 some years ago against the Celtics. But Michael himself said, considering the importance of this game in the finals, it might have been his greatest performance ever. Through the years, the great Clyde Drexler of the TrailBlazers has pretty much held his own head-to-head against Michael. But after viewing the game films of Game 1, he said it was like something out of a Stephen King horror flick. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Costas. Welcome to Game 2 at Chicago Stadium. We're joined momentarily by Marv Albert and Mike Fratello. Magic Johnson was with us here for Game 1 and will be again in Portland. He is absent tonight, but it most certainly is an excused absence because last night in Los Angeles, Magic and wife Cookie welcomed a new addition, Earvin Johnson III. There he is. And Magic, we're pleased to say that both mother and child are completely healthy.
Yes, they are. The Lord has really blessed me and given me a healthy wife, and we just got the test back from the doctor, and the baby is healthy and strong and negative. So, yeah.
We're really happy for you. Because our time is short, we've got to shift gears quickly. We're wondering about Portland's ability to bounce back. You were involved in a game in 1985, first game of the finals at Boston Gardens. Celtics were the defending champions, the so-called Memorial Day Massacre. They destroyed you, 148-114. You had 3 days between that Sunday and Game 2 on Thursday. How did you regroup to notch a victory in a close game in Game 2 and eventually win the series in 6?
Well, Coach Riley made us watch a lot of films. He said we weren't physical enough and mentally tough enough for that first game. So we regrouped, got back together. We were more physical in Game 2. Mentally, we were stronger. And we end up beating them in Game 2 and in the series because we got physical.
So it can be done. There have been other occasions when teams have been embarrassed badly in the finals and come back to either stretch the series to 6 or 7 or in fact win it. But in your case in 85, you were already a championship team. You had won before and you would win again. You had a great coach in Riley. You had Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Kareem. My question about the TrailBlazers is, are they up to it? What do you think?
Well, they can definitely do it. What they have to do is come out, be more aggressive, be more physical, and make Michael drive, make Pippen drive, and then when they do that, get back to that great team defense that the Portland TrailBlazers have been displaying in the playoff thus far.
Magic, thanks. We'll check with you again at halftime, and we'll see you in Portland. And once again, congratulations on the arrival of the little one.
Thanks.
Okay, talk to you later. Mike Fratello has his own thoughts on how the Trailblazers might regroup and try and slow Michael Jordan and the Bulls down. Here is the Czar courtside with Marv Albert. They'll call the game. Marvelous?
All right, Bob, and for Michael Jordan, game one on Wednesday night, it certainly was one of the most incredible performances in the history of the NBA Finals. Clyde, what do you feel Portland's approach will be to try and defend against what has to be considered an enormous problem in Michael Jordan?
Not an easy problem to solve, but you must try to have some type of damage control. You start out with a game plan. You have Jordan guarded by Drexler, 6'7". If Drexler's not doing the job, you switch. Bring Terry Porter over, put him on Jordan. Quicker feet, a better one-on-one defender. Move Drexler to guard the other guard for Chicago. Then decide where you want to force Michael Jordan. Do you want to force him to the baseline, or do you want to bring him to the middle of the floor off the dribble? That will enable the other defenders to know ahead of time where the help is going to come from. Next thing, try this. If he touches the ball, go run and double team him quickly. Get the ball out of his hands. The problem, when he's behind the three-point line, it opens up so much more of the floor to cover for the other defenders. Now, last thing, and most importantly, pray. Because if you don't, he just might knock out another 6 out of 10 three-pointers.
Obviously, a key element in the coaching success of the Czar, going to the prayer route. Now, coming off the blowout, what does Portland have to do to turn it around? How will they react?
You look to see how much inner toughness a team has. During the course of this season, Portland was defeated 3 times by 20 or more points. On one occasion, they came back to start a 4-game winning streak. On another occasion, they won 7 in a row and 9 out of the next 10. So this team certainly has that bounce-back ability, and they'll need it this evening against Chicago.
All right, and when we come back, Clyde Drexler and his Portland Trailblazers will seek to tie the series at 1. To Chicago on a 71-degree beautiful day in the Windy City. Now for the introduction of the starting lineups, the public address voice of the Bulls, Ray Clay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago Bulls welcome the world's greatest fans to the Chicago Stadium. Tonight's Game 2 of the NBA Finals is between the Portland Trailblazers and your Chicago Bulls. Now for tonight's lineups. First for the visiting Portland Trailblazers, at forward from Maryland, 6'8", Buck Williams. A 6'7" forward from Longwood College, Jerome Kersey. At center, 7 foot from Eastern Illinois, Kevin Duckworth. And 1 guard from Wisconsin, Stevens Point, 6'3", Terry Porter. And the other guard, 6'7", from Houston, Clyde Drexler. The Portland Trailblazers are coached by Rick Adelman.
the Bulls and the Blazers, and for, indeed, the very best in sideline reporting. Here's Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Marv. Well, everybody is talking about Michael Jordan since game one, including Clyde Drexler. I asked Clyde about it. He said, you know, it's the most extraordinary shooting exhibition that I have ever seen. Unfortunately, it was against me. I said, so how will you check him tonight? He said, I will give him the three-pointers until he starts making them. Then I'll have to pick him up, even if I have to go out to the half-court line to pick him up. On the other end, Clyde said, I will be much more offensive-minded. Michael Jordan, same pregame routine of lifting weights. And Marv, while it is doing wonders for him, to be honest with you, it's doing nothing for me. As a matter of fact, I'm so sore, I can barely bend my arm to hold this microphone.
Ahmad, we were going to point that out ourselves. The officials, Paul Mahalik, Hugh Evans, and Jess Kersey. Hall of Famer, former DePaul University coach Ray Meyer, who is a huge favorite here in Chicago, taking part in the ceremonial opening tip. There's Ray. A standing ovation for Ray Meyer. Now we are set for game number 2 of this best of 7 NBA final. Bill Cartwright, Jerome Kersey on the opening tip, controlled by Portland. And you recall in game 1, the Blazers opened up by hitting their first 7 field goal attempts.
Look for both teams to go inside early, and Portland starts it out with Buck Williams, who really was a non-factor due to fouls and playing time in game 1. Point of concentration for Chicago. They do not want Duckworth to get off early. We know Chicago likes to go to Cartwright in the beginning of games.
And Duckworth also got into that early foul difficulty and never did get into it. Here is Jordan. Yes! Michael Jordan from 2-point range. Now Drexler for 3, rebounded by Grant. Pippen with the change of pace finds the open Jordan. Kersey had it slapped away. Good play by Grant. Last touched by Kersey.
Jordan teeing up the first one, gets a good look at the front of the rim, and knocks it out in the bottom to start off, and immediately Clyde's got to be saying, uh-oh, hope it's not one of those halves again.
Pippen worked off the screen. And the officials check it out. Paul Mahalik with the call says last touched by Drexler.
Last game, Chicago came up with 16 offensive rebounds. Too many second shot opportunities. Portland must do a better job defensive rebounding.
Back out for Jordan again with the room. Once again, Michael Jordan working his way free, and he has hit on his second field goal.
Part of that responsibility goes to the screeners, the guys who are designated to free Jordan up to get those shots.
Buck Williams working hard, had it deflected. Pippen puts the move around Kersey, and he's fouled.
Sets a good screen on Drexler, who's supposed to be guarding Jordan. So Porter tries to come out on a switch out last time, but it's too late. Jordan gets a good look. Porter, no time to recover on a switch out. A deuce.
Buck Williams called for the foul. Buck Williams a bit upset with the officiating of Jake O'Donnell in game number 1. He felt that his statements made before the series with Chicago hurt him. He had said that Portland will be more physical than Cleveland against Chicago. And Buck, as you mentioned, in the early foul difficulty, played only 18 minutes because of the fouls.
Well, when the players play all season to get this far, and then in the first game they wind up sitting on the bench, you're going to have some type of reaction. But we all know Jake is right up there, top official in the NBA. It's just one of those nights where the fouls came Buck's way.
2 minutes have gone by in this first quarter. Porter for three, a bad shot, air ball, and Jordan's pass picked off by Kersey. Drexler met on the switch by Grant. Nice pass from Williams, and Duckworth able to hit. The Bulls 6, and the Blazers 4. And Portland staying with the matchup. Clyde Drexler against Michael Jordan. And now Jordan gives it off to Cartwright after the post-up move. Cartwright had it knocked away, and it will be Portland possession.
Interior passing inside, big man to big man, produces easy scores.
Terry Porter being played by John Paxson. Drexler with the step, beating Jordan, then rejected by Grant. Nice play by Kersey. It's a 3-on-1. Drexler, yes, and it counts. A facial served up by Clyde Drexler, and the foul committed by Bill Cartwright.
Well, this just might be the spark that this team needs by Clyde Drexler. Taking it to the basket, a piece, rejection. Pippen starting out on the break, and then the good hands and deflection turn it right around, and here it is now, the momentum perhaps that Portland's been waiting for.
The TrailBlazers with a 7-6 lead. Drexler trying to turn it around from the 5 for 14 in 31 minutes, plus 4 turnovers in game number 1. He came into the series averaging 26 per game in the playoffs. Pippen passed on the 3. Here's Jordan for 3, and it's rebounded by Williams. Grant with the steal.
That's the second time now for Chicago that just hanging around the basketball after a rebound has either stopped the fast break or in that case produced an easy score. Last time Portland had a man all the way down the floor, but Cartwright hung in to stop the break.
Crowd wanted to travel, instead the rejection, and then Williams on a recovery is able to hit, plus the foul. So Buck Williams opening up in very aggressive fashion. Hacked by Horace Grant. He'll go to the line.
When you think you have the rebound against Chicago, you have to pay attention because their big men, the power forward and center, will hang in and try and slow down your outlet pass. And then Buck Williams, who is known for his work ethic, stays after it and comes up with the score.
And Mike, you can see right at the start, it is a different mentality here for the Portland TrailBlazers. They have come out very aggressively, certainly in contrast to what we saw here on Wednesday.
And you have Duckworth, you have Buck, you have Drexler on the dunk, baskets inside the paint rather than just pull-up jump shots.
Portland 10, Chicago 8. Pippen with a pull-up. That is his first field goal, and the game is tied at 10. 4 minutes gone by. Drexler changed his mind. Here's Porter. Played tightly by Paxson. It counts. And the foul called on Paxson. Terry Porter will go to the line.
Well, the backcourt for Portland has been the twosome that's carried them through this season. Porter on a scoring binge lately in the playoffs. Off balance, still gets it over Paxson.
Timeout taken by Phil Jackson. We'll be back in a moment. This past Wednesday night in Game 1, Michael Jordan put on a three-point shooting exhibition and a stunning performance, but taking too many threes can hurt his overall performance, according to Michael.
My three-point shooting is something that I don't want to excel at because it takes away from all phases of my game. My game is a fake drive to the hole, penetrate, dish off, dunk, whatever. And when you have that mentality, as I found out in the first game, of making threes, you don't go to the hole as much. You go to the three-point line and you start sitting there waiting for someone to find you. And that's not my mentality. And I don't want to create that because it takes away from my other parts of my game.
To show you the difference from the regular season, Jordan made only 27 the entire regular season in 80 games, 27 out of 100 attempts. Meanwhile, Drexler made 114 out of 338. What a difference, almost 3 times as many.
I asked Michael before the game, is he now considering taking part in the long-distance shooting competition, All-Star Weekend next year? He said no.
Well, you know, last time he did that, he wasn't real happy with the results.
Several years ago, he did take part and hit only a couple and finished way down in the competition, and said he now has new respect for those who hit the three-pointer with proficiency.
In fact, he came in the locker room and gave his sneakers to Bobby Hansen and said, "Here, take these."
All right, Pippen getting the roll for his second field goal. It's the Bulls and the Blazers tied at 12. 4.5 gone by in this first quarter. Now Pippen matched up with Duckworth. Cartwright comes over to switch back. Duckworth going one-on-one with the driving hook. The Trailblazers feel they have the advantage in the matchup offensively with Duckworth against Cartwright, and they'd like to get Duckworth going. Cartwright did not have the shot, so got it out. Grant rebounded by Drexler.
Well, they are more scoring opportunities for Duckworth than there are for Bill Cartwright. Normally, Chicago goes to Cartwright early in games, but doesn't come back to him. Duckworth is a factor throughout the game for Portland.
Horace Grant called for his second foul.
And the fouls eventually take their toll in game one. It was Buck Williams who picked up the fouls early. Here, Grant with two quick ones.
Drexler 1 for 4 here at the start. And Paxson run into by Kersey. Jerome Kersey, who did not have a good one here on Wednesday. In fact, he has struggled against the Bulls here at Chicago Stadium during the regular season, and 0 for 8 here in Chicago.
If you take the last two games these teams have played against one another, the matchup of Pippen against Kersey is 44-9 in favor of Pippen as far as points.
Kersey was telling us yesterday after practice that he just doesn't seem to come out aggressive enough here at Chicago. He just can't put his finger on it. Here's Duckworth. And it's handled by Grant. Game tied at 12. Pippen changed his mind. Cartwright shooting. Bill Cartwright with his first field goal. Bulls 14, the Trailblazers 12. Scott Williams getting set to come on for the Bulls. Williams with the move and foul. Jordan came over to help out. Horace Grant let Buck have the step he did not want to pick up his third, and looked for the help, and he got it, but the foul called on Jordan.
And I'm not so sure that Grant wanted to be up that tight on Buck anyhow. Once he catches it outside, he's not going to hurt you with his shot. Instead, Jordan comes over to try and save the easy score, commits the foul.
So Grant sitting down. Leaves with the two fouls. He's played very well. And Scott Williams, who had a solid playoff against Cleveland and then followed up in game one here the other night with a 6 for 6, 12.9 rebound game. And look at the contribution by the Chicago bench in that first game. Overall, 15 for 24 from the field. With Williams, Livingston, and Armstrong doing the job off the bench. And remember, they were questioned during the course of the Knicks and Cavalier playoff series.
Well, it seemed like each time they got questioned, they managed to bounce back with a pretty good performance.
Good play by Portland to stop Jordan. Here's Kersey. Jerome Kersey with his first field goal, giving Portland a 16-14 lead. Williams knocking it off Scott Williams. It will be Portland ball.
Well, last game it was 21 turnovers for Portland, only 11 for Chicago. Already here, early in the game, 5 turnovers for Chicago and only 1 for the Trailblazers.
5 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. Duckworth feeling the contact from Cartwright and hits. Strong move by Kevin Duckworth. And Portland leads by 4. 6-0 run by the Blazers. Cartwright getting inside, but it will not count. A foul called by Hugh Evans before the shot attempt.
Well, this early in the game, Chicago has not decided yet to come back and double-team Duckworth. So basically, Cartwright has to play him one-on-one, and that time with the strength and size, Duckworth gets a good look. But at the other end, they're going to come right back and keep attacking to try to put the personal fouls on Duckworth.
And that was the first on Kevin Duckworth. Bulls trying to get Cartwright involved. That is his second field goal. Portland by 2. Porter, played by Paxson. And rebounded by Scott Williams. Terry Porter not taking good shots.
And that might be one of those times where people say the point guard mentality isn't all there with Terry Porter. He has more of a two-guard mentality. You just got a shot for Duckworth. Come right back and give the big fellow the basketball again. See if he can get on a roll, perhaps put a foul on Cartwright.
Foul called on Kersey. That is his second. Substitution for the Blazers, Cliff Robinson replacing Jerome Kersey, leads with a field goal, 2 rebounds. Cliff Robinson did a good job in game 1, 24 minutes, 16 points. Cliff Robinson in his 3rd season out of the University of Connecticut.
Once again, when Robinson came in game 1, that false sense of security right away, he knocked out a jumper from about 17 feet. Everybody felt their jump shots were going down. They stayed with him. They stopped falling, unfortunately, for Portland.
And the foul called on the Blazers, so both the Blazers and the Bulls are now over the foul limit. That's on Drexler, his first, so Cartwright to the line. Is it possible that Portland actually hurt itself by coming out and hitting 7 for 7? For the most part, they were outside shots, so they end up settling for the jump shot.
Well, when there is a distribution between the shots and everybody's making their initial jumper, what happens is you got too many guys feeling good at the same time, and they all want to keep it going, and you get away from the game plan, and that's exactly what happened. Rick Adelman said, all we're going to do tonight is try to execute what we intended to do in game number 1, but never really got to, just do it better.
Because you're aware there are players around the league, when you're coaching against them, you like them to hit their first or second jump shot because they usually stay out there and then take bad shots. And we get the whistle from Mahalik for a lane violation, so Cartwright will get the do-over.
It's because Bill Cartwright stops at the top right. Here, there's a hitch. People think he's going to follow through. You see Drexler stepping in. That's a lane violation. You cannot step in before the ball is released from the shooter's hand. And the shooter may not cross that foul line until there is contact with the rim or backboard.
And this occurred the other night in game 1 with Cartwright. On the line, he forced the lane violation. He was not able to take advantage on Wednesday. He did right here. That's a violation as Drexler lost possession of the ball, bounced it, and Chicago will take over.
Well, what Jess Kersey is saying is that Buck Williams actually passed the ball inbounds as it fell out of his hands, and then Drexler picked it up and walked out of bounds with it. Buck right there lets it go. Drexler was inbounds and stepped out of bounds. A change of possession, a violation.
Timeout taken by the TrailBlazers. When we come back, it will be Chicago ball.
This is a very close and difficult call. What they're saying is that Buck, when he drops it, actually passes it right now to a guy who's inbounds. Then Drexler, going from inbounds, touches it and takes it back out. A reverse angle, a different look at it. Is Drexler out of bounds is the question before he touches it. Has he established out of bounds position? He's in, he takes it out. That's the call.
So the Bulls get it back in their front court. 3:51 remaining in this first quarter. The game tied at 18. Danny Ainge has checked in for the first time. Bulls have Jordan and Paxson in the backcourt. Williams up front with Cartwright. And Pippen. Williams with the step. Rebounded by the Blazers. So Ainge and Porter now in the backcourt. Drexler up front with Robinson. Williams, nice move by Porter. Terry Porter able to penetrate, and Portland leads 20-18.
a shift right here. Porter playing Michael Jordan.
And Ainge with the rebound. Jordan has hit 2 of 5 from the field. Porter again on the penetration, but this time threw it back out. Here's Ainge passing on the 3, hitting the 2. Danny Ainge with his first field goal, and Portland leads by 4.
One of the things the Bulls do so well is they fly at the jump shooter. So when Ainge just showed the ball like he was going to shoot the 3, Pippen flew right by him. One dribble, wide open shot for Danny Ainge.
Now Drexler stays on Pippen, and the matchup continues. Porter going against Jordan. A pushing foul charged to Cliff Robinson. That is his first.
Well, Cliff Robinson is just not strong enough to play Bill Cartwright down in the low post. And if the Bulls continue to go to him, Cartwright either will go to the free throw line or score easy hoops.
Bill Cartwright, 2 of 2 from the foul line. He had been having all kinds of problems at the line during the playoffs. Hit 3 of 4, though, the other night.
When this same thing happened in game number 1, after Robinson played Cartwright just once or twice, the Blazers made an adjustment. They took Buck Williams and played him on Cartwright. Unfortunately, Buck got in foul trouble, was on the bench.
There's everybody jumping into the lane, but it was all legal this time. Off the motion by Cartwright. Robinson with the open shot. Air ball. Drexler saving for Buck Williams. What a play by Clyde Drexler. The Blazers by 6 with 2:25 remaining in this first quarter.
That's one of those hustle plays that Portland got very few of in game 1, but they mean 2 points when you get after it.
And Michael Jordan has been off in this first quarter. Robinson on the run. He's hit by Cartwright.
Well, Robinson may have problems guarding Cartwright in the post, but Cartwright has problems chasing him in transition in the open floor.
Foul committed by Cartwright is second.
You look for effort points in the games, little small things that will make the difference. Chicago stops going after it. Drexler does it, saves it, 2 points as a result.
Cliff Robinson, not a good free throw shooter at 66%. Surprising, you look at both these teams, Chicago and Portland have not been good foul shooting teams right through the season.
Well, in game number 1, actually, Portland shot pretty well from the free throw line, and the free throws are pretty even. 23 attempts for Portland, 22 for Chicago. Portland shot 78 in game 1. The Bulls only 68. They have struggled from the free throw line, Chicago.
Cartwright sitting down, leads with 6 points, 2 personal fouls, replaced by Cliff Livingston. Cliff Robinson, a second-round draft pick, who actually had the knock in college at University of Connecticut at being on the soft side. That's certainly not the case in the NBA. He has been a very tough, solid player, and a player who can defend all 3 front court positions.
Well, according to Rick Adelman, his entire team was too soft in game 1.
It counts, and the foul. Michael Jordan with 6 points, and he'll go to the line. Robinson picked up the foul.
Chicago leaves the post area open so that Michael can flash, turn, face, and then so quick with the first step, you have to get to him immediately if you intend to double team Michael, or it's too late. He splits the defenders.
And as Michael mentioned earlier, he is more comfortable showing all phases of his game. He did attempt 1 3-pointer earlier this quarter, did not hit it. But he was very candid in saying that's not his game. That was certainly an aberration, and we are seeing the all-around skills of Jordan. He'd rather go to the drive and the short-range jump shot. B.J. Armstrong has checked in for the first time. And Enos Watley, a one-time Chicago Bull, who played briefly in game 1, has come out. Watley with the ball being played by Armstrong. Portland with a 4-point lead. 1:45 to go in the first. Robinson posting on Livingston. Nice fake through the foul. Livingston charged with the foul. Robinson back to the line.
Cliff Livingston's going to give up 3.5 inches to Robinson, and Cliff, a shot blocker, sometimes gets a little bit too anxious. He's always ready to go up, try to get a piece of it, and you need to stay down on those pump fakes. But then again, when you're that close to the basket, you can't stay down too long, or the shot's up and in.
Robinson's 2 of 3 From the line, Cliff Robinson has certainly progressed in the playoffs, also getting more and more playing time. And Portland again by 6. Ainge with the pressure on Pippen. Drexler is back regarding Jordan. Pippen posting Ainge. Williams over to help. Good play by Robinson to break it up. Shot clock at 7. Scott Williams able to collar it. Feeds Jordan. Armstrong shooting. And both Pippen and Williams went for the tip. As a result, it was knocked out of bounds.
But you saw great patience and confidence by Chicago. One more pass each time. Just when you think it's got to go up, no. They believe in each other. They know how much time is on the clock, and they stay with it.
That's 2-point range. Danny Ainge hitting on his second field goal. And it's the biggest lead of the night for Portland. 29-21 with just under 1 minute remaining in the first.
The preaching of aggressiveness, the extended Portland Trailblazer defense, slowing down Chicago, just taking him out of the normal rhythm, making him think that, hey, this team's getting up, getting after us a little bit.
Livingston did not look pretty, but he'll take it. Portland 29, Chicago 23. Drexler off the crossover was stopped by Jordan. 10 on the 24. 25 seconds of the quarter. Ainge, oh, he's on fire. Danny Ainge with the turnaround, his third field goal. The Blazers 31, the Bulls 23, and Chicago will hold for a final shot. 15 seconds to go in this first quarter. Jordan tried to find either Armstrong or Pippen, and miscommunication leading to the turnover. 4 9/10 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Wadley trying to get out of the backboard. Ainge pops it. So that's the end of the first. And a strong start for the Portland Trailblazers. They lead the Bulls here in Chicago by the score of 31-23.
Chicago Stadium. Now, I have been doing some research. When Michael Jordan caught on fire in Game 1, it had an effect all over the stadium. Here at this concession stand, where they normally do a lot of business, business was down during the first half 40%. And it wasn't only here, Marv. It was also at the hot dog stand. They usually 1,000 hot dogs in the first half. Because it was lighting up inside, they only sold 225. All I can do, Marv, to keep giving you the inside stuff here.
Just fascinating.
A moment ago, Scottie Pippen with a bad left wrist is hand-checking with his right hand, but wants no part of contact with Ainge. He keeps that left hand out of there. It's very sore, and you can see that he does not want Ainge to hit it.
Scottie telling us prior to the game that he is still, oh, what a pass from Pippen, finding Grant. Scottie Pippen saying that he's still bothered by the wrist and ankle injury that hampered him throughout the early series. Drexler buries the jump. Pippen had problems with the Knicks and the Cavaliers, not only because of the wrist and ankle. They certainly did a nice job on him, but that did hurt his offensive game. Here's Livingston going to the jump shot. Livingston. So the second quarter opens up with both clubs coming out, firing up shots and hitting. Blazers with a 33-27 lead. Drexler met on the switch by Pippen. Drexler is stopped, and a loose ball foul called against Portland. It's on Clyde Drexler. That is his second foul. Setting the Bulls, B.J. Armstrong and Scottie Pippen will operate at the guard positions. Michael Jordan sitting down. Scott Williams up front, along with Horace Grant and Cliff Livingston. And for the most part, Pippen will run the club. Grant played by Robinson. Livingston posting up on Ainge. Goes to the glass and
draws the foul.
And you've got to understand that there's no way Danny Ainge can play Livingston down in the low post. All the Bulls do before every game is come out and play little one-on-one inside games with Livingston against Stacey King and Scott Williams. And to have a guard like Ainge trying to play him, Livingston's confidence level right now is way up. He just feels he can back him down, get it to any spot he wants. And the Bulls, they believe in it. They go to it right away when they see the mismatch.
Livingston has 3 inches on Ainge. Livingston at 6'8". He is only a 62% free throw shooter. And once again, similar to a year ago, getting the minutes in the playoffs, in particular in the finals. He emerged against the Lakers last season in the championship series. Blazers lead by 5. Minute and a half gone by. Second quarter. Duckworth certainly had the position. Loose ball foul called on Portland as Scott Williams was sent to the floor.
Loose ball foul, Portland.
Duckworth picks up his second. Kevin Duckworth goes 7 feet, 280 pounds in his 6th year out of Easton, Illinois. He struggled most of the season. Did not have the good playoff series last year, although he felt that he took too much of the blame for the disappointing showing in the playoffs. Made some strong statements here at the shoot-around the other day. Meanwhile, Portland stays with the matchup. Ainge trying to cover Livingston. Ainge got some help, and it was last touch by Portland. Kevin Duckworth the other day making the comment that he feels he will not be a member of the Portland TrailBlazers next season. He said he feels he's gone. That's it.
Well, he's a very sensitive young man. He's been reading and hearing that all these problems were his fault, and he just thinks that, hey, if they don't win the whole thing, they're going to try and make a move, shake the team up a little bit.
Here's Pippen with the shot clock running down. He just did get it off. Scott Williams to the offensive boards. Pippen. Oh, what a... Scottie Pippen with the gorgeous setup for Horace Grant. The Bulls with a 7-2 run. Here's Drexler. Yes! And the foul. Clyde Drexler comes roaring back. And the Blazers lead by 3. Timeout being called as you get another look first at Pippen.
You associate Pippen getting his assists on fast break transition, but he can do it in the half-court area as well. And then Drexler puts the pressure on with the drive to the basket.
Chicago Stadium, Marv Albert with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, along with Ahmad Rashad, Bob Costas, Quinn Buckner. Another look at that drive by Drexler a moment ago. As it turns out, the official said the foul was committed before the shot attempt, so the basket does not count.
Questionable call because there were no more dribbles. It was in the act of shooting. Drexler continued with his movement, momentum to the basket. Could very easily have counted.
Blazers lead by 3. Clyde Drexler will get a rest. So Clyde sits down, 2 of 6 from the field, 5 points. Jerome Kersey is back. Ainge and Porter in the backcourt. Kersey, Duckworth, and Robinson up front. And a holding foul being called on Chicago.
Chicago personal foul 10.
A.J. Armstrong picks up his first. Michael Jordan returns. Scottie Pippen will depart. Pippen leads with 6 points, 3 assists. Michael Jordan sat out a couple of minutes. Armstrong guarding Porter. Williams on Duckworth. And he's called for the travel.
Kevin Duckworth is anticipating the fact that Chicago's going to come and double team. In fact, they're just staying at home and letting their post people play him straight up. He needs to just be more aggressive, take it to the basket quicker. Then eventually the double team will come.
Cliff Robinson now matched with Michael Jordan. Jordan with the fake. Yes. Portland by 1. 3 minutes in, second quarter. Terry Porter got the good look. That's his third field goal. He has 6. Portland 35, Chicago 32. Rick Allen staying with Cliff Robinson on Michael Jordan. Jordan to the crossover. Shot clock at 5. Jordan. Michael Jordan has 11. Portland leads by 1.
When you realize how many times players on the team throw the ball back to the superstar with just 5 or 4 on the shot clock and say, bail us out, baby, and they do it, it shows you how great they really are.
Armstrong trying to pass off the dribble, fortunate to recapture. Now Ainge guarding Jordan. Livingston. Grant trying to save it. It will be Portland ball.
Jordan, being guarded by Robinson, knows that he can take him off the dribble, and then when he gets to the front of the rim, uses his body to protect the basketball, shields Robinson off so he can't get the block.
Chicago outscoring Portland 11-4 in the second quarter. Williams has returned. E.J. Armstrong looking to close the path on Terry Porter, was called for the block. Now Clyde Drexler is back. Comes on for Cliff Robinson. This is game 2 of the best of 7. Game 3 coming up Sunday in Portland. You'll see it right here on NBC, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. John Paxson for B.J. Armstrong.
Just seems that there's a lot more shuffling in and out of players this early in game 2 as compared to game 1. Coaches going with different combinations on the floor, and then one coach trying to match up with a better lineup to the move that the other coach just got done making, the chess match.
And we are seeing all kinds of combinations as Buck Williams connects on his 4th field goal to give Portland a 3-point lead. All kinds of combinations on the part of Portland to try and keep Michael Jordan in check, and they'll jump it up. Good play by Kersey and Grant on the tie-up.
Grant has a pair of hands, they're like a vice. Jordan goes up at the last minute, drops it down, and actually Kersey had the ball, and Grant gets in there late, gets his hands on it, and manages to be strong enough to tie him up and force the jump ball. Nobody is covering the backcourt right now for Chicago. Porter could get an easy breakaway.
However, the tip comes to Jordan. Feeling around for Porter. Paxson. They double up on Paxson. Livingston, a wild shot. Cliff a bit out of control with the shooting. We were talking early, sometimes you like to see players hit a couple from the outside. Well, that is an illustration of it. Drexler.
And Clyde forcing an outside shot right there. Going back to Livingston, see, he's been placed in the prime passing position of the postman in the triangle, and the ball starts in that spot most times, so you're putting a lot of pressure on Cliff to make big decisions with the basketball in his hands.
Here's Paxson for 3. Yes! John Paxson, who was in foul difficulty on Wednesday, played only 19 minutes, took only 4 shots, hit 2 with his first field goal tonight. And it's a 3-pointer to tie the game at 37.
Paxson is shooting 60% from the 3-point line for all the playoff games combined so far this year.
Shot clock at 6. Porter fires. Rebound Kersey. And now handled by Scott Williams.
The crowd is right about at the level that Michael likes to hear it going.
Pretty pass from Paxson. Scott Williams was blocked, although he thought he was fouled. Here comes Drexler, feeding Kersey. What a move by Jerome Kersey. That's the move of the the night.
And it started for Kersey with the last play when he tried to get the offensive rebound. Those are the type of things that get Kersey going. And then the transition game enables him the opportunity to get up and get the do so. Kersey feels more involved.
The Bulls take a timeout. Blazers by 2. Another look at Kersey. The double pump scoop got the roll. We'll be right back. Game 1, Portland has certainly turned things around in this first half. We were talking about this with Danny Ainge, a one-time Boston Celtics who can relate to coming back from a blowout.
Well, I've been involved in 2 cases just like this. I remember in '84, the series was tied 1-1, and we went to play our first game in the Forum and got blown out by 30-something points. Came back and won the series. In '85, in Game 1 in the Boston Garden, we blow the Lakers out by 30-something points, and they came back and win the series. You know, this is just one game. You know, it's not the Tour de France. We don't start out 33 down in Game 2. It starts out 0-0, and that in itself might give us some momentum.
Czar, I'd have to say that's the first time I've heard a reference to the Tour de France by a basketball player.
But, you know, coaching these players, it's one of the amazing things, their ability to put behind them what happened in the last game and move on to the next one and be very successful.
Scottie Pippen, and receiving that pass, had stepped out, so it will be Portland ball. They lead it 39-37. 5:20 remaining in this first half. The lead misfired, and back comes Jordan. Michael Jordan with the move on Porter, then gave it up to Paxson. Loose ball foul called on the Bulls. That is the first called on Pippen.
That last play by Jordan driving and then kicking back out to that right sideline just reminded me a little bit of Game 5 in the championship series a year ago against the Lakers, except it seemed that Paxson never missed in the game.
Duckworth. Well, Cartwright is back on the floor. Pippen. Well, he tried to get a little too cutesy with that pass, looking to hit Grant with the one-bounce shot. And the Bulls turn it over.
I like that. Cutesy.
Thank you very much.
Cutesy.
Duckworth passing on the shot. 5 on the 24. Drexler. Clyde Drexler with his 3rd field goal. He has 7, and it's Portland 41, Chicago 37. Paxson and Jordan at the guards. Cartwright, Pippen and Grant up front, so Phil Jackson is back to his starting unit. And that pass thrown away by Jordan.
Clyde turns the corner, and normally the next defender is there for Chicago to stop the penetration. That time, no one to help Michael. And what's happened now is a strong commitment that when Michael Jordan catches it in the post, Portland is double-teaming him immediately. Buck Williams came right over. Jordan tried to kick opposite to Pippen in the spot-up area. He just wasn't there in time.
Round 1 of the fouls. Paxson took a shot. Williams giving Portland its biggest lead of the game.
20-second timeout.
And a 20-second timeout is taken as John Paxson was shaken up. And Chicago trainer Chip Schaefer out to take a look. Paxson thought he was fouled, but did not get the call.
Well, look at how Paxson was injured right there on the little dribble handoff move. He runs into Kevin Duckworth, and you're lucky you're still alive when you get done running into Duckworth. The big shoulder of Kevin. John Paxson with the injury.
John Paxson saying that he's all right. John Paxson spent 2 years with the San Antonio Spurs. This is 7th season with Chicago. 9th year in the NBA out of Notre Dame. They Jordan, that a rare sight. Paxson wide open. Yes. So Portland's lead is 4. 3:20 to go. First half. Drexler. Drexler not able to hit the outside shot to this point. Good hands by Grant.
Portland retains possession.
A few moments ago, when Jordan was posted up down low and the ball went in, you'll see an immediate double team take place by Portland. They did not do this in game number 1. They left Drexler by himself. The result, a turnover by the Bulls.
Kersey setting the pick. Shot clock at 5. And a foul called on the Bulls. Portland taking time. Cartwright called for his third. 2:56 to go in the half.
Costas, and coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll talk live with a pair of Olympians. First, the Sixers' Charles Barkley, who'll share some opinions on Philly's new coach, Doug Moe. And then we'll hear from Duke's Christian Laettner, the only collegiate player on the U.S. Olympic basketball team. And we'll also update you on today's action at the French Open with American Jim Courier beating rival Andre Agassi in today's semifinals. Right now, let's go back down courtside to Marv and Mike.
All right, Bob, 2:56 remaining first half, and the Blazers leading by the score of 43-39.
Let's look at Clyde Drexler take a jump shot here. Most right-handed shooters use their left foot. Clyde uses his right foot as his pivot foot. If you watch Jordan and the other players, right-handers like to use the left foot and swing in with the right leg. Clyde does it just the opposite most times, and perhaps it's a reason that he's coming up short on the shot. He's not getting the same lift or power from his legs.
And not shooting well here in the first half. Overall, 8 for 23 over the first 2 games. Terry Porter is 0 for 2 from the line. Will Perdue has come on for the first time. Bill Cartwright departing after collecting his third foul, so it is Perdue up front with Grant and Pippen. Portland 44, Chicago 39.
I feel a little funny talking about getting lift, you know.
I see.
To Clyde. I had a problem with lift myself.
Oh, a little self-defacing humor here from the zone. Duckworth now played by Perdue. 2.5 remaining. First half. Drexler way off in his three-point attempt.
And he shot it the same way. Right foot is his pivot foot that time.
Portland now 1 for 12 in the series from downtown. Blazers. Oh, that's Kersey once again excelling in the open court. Portland is now 0 for 6 from three-point land this evening. But they lead 46-39. Scottie Pippen. And Pippen has been off. Kersey double team. And it's a 3-second violation.
This is where Jerome Kersey can flourish. If they defensive rebound, get out in the fast break, let him run the floor, and then Clyde, who plays so unselfishly, will find him. If his jumper's not going or the opportunities aren't there, do it other ways. Offensive rebounds or run the floor.
Michael Jordan, yes. The post-up move displayed by Jordan. He's 6 for 10, 13 points. Chicago trailing by 5.
And Jordan that time turned opposite the way he had been going in game 1 on that fake jumper back to the basket. Had set Drexler up from game 1 and changed in game 2.
Kevin Duckworth getting the roll. 6 points for Duckworth. The Blazers lead 48-41. We come up on 1 minute remaining first half.
There's the double team of Michael Jordan again by Buck Williams, trying to make Michael give the ball up.
Pippen not able to hit the 3. Perdue gets to it. Jordan for 3. And a foul is called. It's on Will Perdue.
In game one, Jordan had turned left shoulder. This time he turns right shoulder away and leaves Clyde flat-footed, gets a clean, wide-open look at the basket.
Michael Jordan 0 for 2 tonight from three-point range. You'll recall he did not start well in that department the other night. Incidentally, he said that he had no definite plans to launch that ballistic arsenal on Wednesday, but spent about an hour and a half practicing three-pointers that afternoon with his college roommate and teammate in North Carolina, Buzz Peterson, and he felt good about the shot. He was hitting him in practice with Buzz.
Well, they can't decide who to give the credit to, Buzz for shooting or Ahmad for lifting weights with him that day.
Off the top of my head, I'd go with Buzz myself.
I agree with you.
42 seconds remaining in this first half. 22nd timeout has been taken. Portland with a 49-41 lead on Chicago. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Marvin, talking about the Bulls. Scottie Pippen, who has a bad left wrist. He hurt it in the New York series, and it's still been bothering him. Every time he takes a shot on it, he gets some twinges in it, but he's still able to play. As far as John Paxson is concerned, he hit knee-on-knee with Kevin Duckworth, and he also had some tendonitis right in the spot where he took the shot. So every time he comes to the bench, they're icing it, trying to keep on top of that injury. Marv?
Thanks, Ahmad. Kevin Duckworth looking for his 8th point.
Big factor in game one was the rebounding of Chicago. 16 offensive boards, out-rebounded Portland 44-38. Right now it's 17-17 rebounding, and it's because Buck Williams and Duckworth have been on the floor playing minutes. In game one, Duckworth 25 minutes, Buck Williams only 18 minutes.
Pippen. 8 points for Scottie Pippen. Portland by 7. Pressure being shown by Chicago.
And Phil Jackson is up, motioning to his players. Let's go. Extend the defense. Let's get up and get after him. Let's make some things happen. Let's hope that we wake up this crowd that's sitting here right now.
Drexler got the step, and he drew the foul. So Clyde Drexler will go to the line. Will Perdue called for his 2nd foul. Bob Costas, Quinn Buckner coming up. Just a moment with the Prudential halftime report. Other than Michael Jordan, probably no player in the NBA is as creative or unstoppable as Clyde Drexler. And this year he added another dimension to his game, the three-point field goal. He has become a complete player, although to this point, over the first 2 games of the finals, we have not seen it. Clyde only 5 for 14 in game number 1, and has had his ups and downs here in the first half. 3 for 10 from the field. Although the other dimension here tonight, he does have 7 assists. Final seconds of the half. Paul Mahalik indicating the foul on Cliff Robinson. That is his 3rd. And it's a non-shooting foul with 7 seconds remaining in the half.
In game 1, Portland had 51 points at the half. They have 52 right now with 7 seconds remaining. The difference is that Chicago had 66 points at the half. Jordan 35 in the first half. Right now, Jordan has 13 points. The Bulls 43 points.
In game 1, the Bulls exploded, led by Jordan in the 2nd quarter. Not the case here tonight. Michael Jordan with 15. Blazers by 7. Drexler able to receive the pass and hit the shot.
He held him off with his body, knew that he had the position. He waited for it to come down, just like a post lob pass, except it happened full court.
The Bulls wanted the foul. They did not get the call. So halftime in Chicago, it's Portland by 9. Here's another look at that long pass down court.
He holds him off with the left shoulder and arm. Obviously has the size advantage against B.J. Armstrong. And then the clock does not begin until the ball is touched. Kind of like a wide receiver going downfield, holding off the defensive back.
Michael Jordan with 15. Buck Williams leading Portland with 13. Clyde Drexler has 11. Bob and Quinn coming up, along with Charles Barkley and Christian Laettner. Will be back in a moment.
Following the Game 1 blowout, the attitude toward the Portland TrailBlazers, not only by Chicago fans, but by a large portion of the media, was more than critical. It was almost disdainful. And in the face of all that, and in the face of the hostile crowd here, feeling, I guess, almost as if it was about a dozen of them against the rest of the basketball world, they come back to lead the Bulls at halftime here, 54-45. Jordan has 15. Drexler has 11. Jordan, after being unconscious from three-point distance in the first half in Game 1, 0 for 2 on a pair of three-point attempts tonight. Buck Williams, a big contributor, held to 3 in Game 1, 13 points in the first half tonight for Portland. Portland has not been beaten off the offensive boards and hasn't turned the ball over the way they did in the first half in Game 1. That's a big factor. So, we welcome you to the Prudential Halftime Report. I'm Bob Costas. I'll be rejoined by Quinn Buckner momentarily. Now, stick with me on this because eventually it comes back around to basketball. The opening ceremony for the Summer Olympics in Barcelona is scheduled for 7 weeks from tomorrow. And today, a time-honored tradition took place in Olympia, Greece. The lighting of the Olympic flame amid the ruins where the Olympic Games were born. The first leg of the journey is 235 miles to Athens and then across southern Europe to Barcelona, where the flame will arrive in the Olympic Stadium on July the 24th. There will be more than 600 athletes in the American contingent, and not too many are as recognizable as the man who joins us now from the San Francisco area, San Rafael to be exact, Charles Barkley. Now, Charles, first of all, you picked Portland to win this series. It didn't look so good after Wednesday. It looks a lot better after 24 minutes tonight. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think you can't make a big deal out of one game. Michael was unconscious in Game 1, but I felt like Portland will come back really strong tonight, and I'm not a fair weather fan. I'm sticking with Portland.
Last week, we had your new coach, Doug Moe, in the studio with us in New York, and we put up the quote that you issued after he was hired, and here it is. You can bring in Pat Riley, Knute Rockne, anybody you want. With the team we've got, we still aren't going to win. So you feel that Doug Moe isn't enough. Would you still like to be traded?
Only if the team, I've enjoyed playing in Philadelphia for 8 years, and I would like to finish my career there. But looking at the Eastern Conference, it's too tough to be in the Eastern Conference right now with Charlotte coming on, Miami, teams like that. So if we're not going to get better, I prefer to go on if that's possible.
You'll be 30 before next season's over. Do you have a sense that the meter is running sometime in the next 2 or 3 years? If Philly doesn't make dramatic changes, you've got to get traded to a contender to fulfill your career?
Well, I would like to play basketball for 3 more years. And not that I'm desperate to win a championship. I would just like to have an opportunity. And right now, we're not even close. And I think that's the thing that frustrates me the most.
Charles, I'm going to go back to the game here for a second. Let's think about this game here with Portland. I had played in the game in '85 when the Celtics blew out the Lakers and the Lakers came back. One of the things that was important is that you come in at the half and you got some momentum, feeling like you got some life here. Do you think that's one of the things that the TrailBlazers have done for themselves with this league going back into the second half?
Well, I think that's very important. They did come out and not get right down. Obviously, Chicago might be a little overconfident after Game 1, but Portland just hung in there. And I think right now, Portland's not really playing that well. I think Chicago has just had a letdown, and Portland, I think they can win the game.
And one more question here, Charles, before a break, and it's back to the Philadelphia situation. Even though you say you still think they should consider trading you, even though you feel their personnel isn't good enough, the Doug Moe move itself is one you have to approve of. He's known as a player's coach. He plays an up-tempo style. So you have to be happy about that, right?
I think Doug Moe is a great basketball coach, and he's a very nice man. But I think that for me, I'm only concerned about winning. And I don't think it's fair to the fans, and it's definitely not fair to me to go out there and not be able to win every night.
All right, Charles, sit tight. We'll ask you to rejoin us in the next segment. Coming up next, we'll be joined by one of Charles Barkley's Olympic teammates, former Duke star Christian Laettner. That's right after this message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. Joining us now from Durham, North Carolina, is the College Player of the Year, Christian Laettner of Duke. Christian is the only member of the U.S. Olympic men's basketball team not yet in the NBA. But before we get to Christian, Let's ask Charles Barkley just what he envisions Leitner's role will be in Barcelona. Charles?
Well, he's going to have to carry some bags, Bob. He's a great basketball player, but he's going to be carrying some bags in Barcelona.
Christian, what do you think?
Well, I think that's fine, Bob. I already told Charles that I'm lifting weights as much as possible to be able to carry everyone's bags.
We're watching 3 Olympians tonight, Drexler, Pippen, Jordan. You're the only college player. How do you feel about it?
About the Chicago-Portland series?
No, just about the idea of joining this group of NBA players as the lone collegian.
Well, obviously, I love it. It's a big thrill for me, and I'm honored. And the thing I'm looking forward to the most is practicing with the actual kids on my team, with the men on my team, because I think that's the thing that will help me the most and get me prepared for the NBA the most.
Have you given much thought to the upcoming draft? It's pretty clear Shaquille O'Neal goes with the first pick, and then Alonzo Mourning with the second. The question is, will Minnesota take you with the 3rd slot or go for Jimmy Jackson from Ohio State? And if they passed on you, almost certainly Dallas would grab you in the 4th slot. Have you given it much thought?
Yeah, I've thought about it a little bit, but mostly it's been rumors that I'm hearing, and some people say Minnesota. Some people say if they pass me up, it's going to be Dallas. Bob, wherever I go, I'm going to love. Minnesota is a great place, and so is Dallas. I'm just looking forward to start practice on the 20th, and then on the 24th to watch the draft from San Diego.
Christian, you played in a lot of international competition through your collegiate year. Do you think that you're going to be able to step up? Are you going to be afraid to tell Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, some of the things that you learned about international competition when you go practice with them down in La Jolla?
Well, I don't think I'll have to. A lot of those guys have had experience playing in the Olympics and playing internationally. And besides that, there's not much that I'm going to be able to tell them that they don't already know.
Charles, let's get one more comment from you. The 76ers didn't make the playoffs. You haven't seen any competition for a while. How have you stayed in shape in anticipation of Barcelona?
Oh, Bob, I haven't. Got a little pop better now. But hey, I'll be ready to go June the 21st. I'll be ready.
All right, Charles, Christian, enjoy the rest of the game on television, and we'll see you this summer in Barcelona. Now, quickly recapping the day's action at the French Open. Men's semifinals. Defending champion Jim Courier thrashed Andre Agassi 6-3, 6-2, and 6-2. Courier will play Czech Peter Korda, who was also a straight set winner. He beat Frenchman Henri Lecomte 6-2, 7-6, and 6-3. The men's finals, Courier versus Korda, can be seen on Sunday beginning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget, the women's finals are tomorrow at 3 Eastern Time, with number 1 Monica Seles going against number 2 Steffi Graf. Well, that'll do it for Quinn Buckner and me from up here. When we come back, Magic Johnson will share his thoughts on the first half with Marvin Mike. That's right after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Come to the companies of the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
Chicago, the TrailBlazers and the Bulls warming up, getting set for the second half of play. The Blazers lead it by 9 at halftime. Marv Albert with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, along with Ahmad Rashad. And Mike, you could see right at the start of the game, Portland seemingly set the tone. They came out in much more aggressive fashion in contrast to what we saw in game 1.
Well, you use one word, aggressiveness, but it carries over to all aspects of the game. And they started with defense, putting pressure on the passes, not making them easy ones, and then a strong concentration to go down inside, get the basketball close to the rim, rather than in game 1 where they wound up shooting just over 44%. They took too many outside shots.
And these are tonight's Miller Genuine Draft halftime stats. Field goal shooting, 51% apiece. The Blazers 21 out of 41, and the Bulls 19 for 37. Michael Jordan, high man, 7 of 12 for 15. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Marv, I just got finished talking to John Paxson, and he does indeed have a very sore knee. He has tendonitis in the knee, and he took that shot from Kevin Duckworth right on the knee, and it is bothering him. I also talked to Scottie Pippen. He told me he has a calcium deposit in the wrist of his left hand, and every time he gets a jar on it, it's very painful. But both of them have injuries that they'll be able to play with. Marv?
All right, Ahmad, when we come back, we'll be joined from Los Angeles by Urban Magic Johnson. In Chicago, we are joined now by Magic Johnson, who is in Los Los Angeles. And Magic, the vital statistics for Irvin Johnson III, 7 pounds, 15 ounces. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
What are your thoughts on what you've seen in the first half?
Well, I think from Portland's side is that their team defense has been excellent, is limited. Michael had 21 shots in the first half of the first game, and in this half of this game, he's only gotten 12 shots. So they really gotten his shot attempts down, and I think they've been aggressive. That's been the main thing for them.
Well, Magic, defensively, they came out and said, we've got to get after them, and a big adjustment. They're doubling much more now than they did at all in game one.
Yes, they are. And you know, another thing is they're getting their hands on a lot of balls. They've caused a lot of turnovers. And you know, once Portland causes turnovers, they usually score on those turnovers, and they've been able to do that. Now they have to just keep that going into the second half.
All right, and the second half is underway. Here's Jordan. Percy got a piece of it. Porter for 3. And it's last touch by Drexler. Magic, again, our very best to you and Cookie and Irvin III, and hope to see you soon, because the Czar's been getting on our nerves, and I know you've been able to lighten that up when you've been with us.
Well, I see you guys in Portland sometime.
Okay.
Thanks, too.
Take care.
All right.
Jordan hit. It counts in the foul. Clyde Drexler called for his third.
Again, Michael went to his right shoulder. First half, he went to his right shoulder and lost him. Again, right shoulder turn, knocks it down. Very similar to what he did in the first half at the other end of the floor.
Michael Jordan, 2 for 2 at the line. He has 18 points. Blazers by 6.
Chicago has not had the opportunities yet to get into their full-court pressing defense after free throws. That's normally with Grant up on the basketball and then the double team in the backcourt.
Drexler had a good shot by Clyde Drexler. However, Jerome Kersey able to get to it. You can certainly question the shot selection of the Portland TrailBlazers.
Well, it just doesn't look like he's on balance, but he's made enough of them in his career that he feels comfortable taking them, and so does Rick Adelman.
Crowd wanted to travel. Pippen with the steal, and that is called a double dribble. So the Bulls with another turnover. That's their 11th.
Well, it's one of the first times that we've seen the Bulls step up in a passing lane and get a piece and a deflection, and Scotty just couldn't find the handle. The ball came up. He touched it with both hands. Good call.
Porter and Drexler in the backcourt. Kersey, Duckworth, Williams up front. Minute and a half gone by in the third. Drexler with the spin. Oh, what a move by Clyde Drexler. He has 13, and the Blazers lead 56-48. They've led by as many as 9. Paxson and Jordan at the guards, Pippen, Cartwright, and Grant on the front line. Pippen hesitant to go to the outside shot, went to the drive, and he drew the foul.
At the other end of the floor, Drexler knows that at a certain point, Michael's going to go for the steal, so you have to use that pullback reverse. There's the steal attempt, there's the pullback reverse, and then the beautiful finish with the left hand by Clyde.
Percy called for his third. Blazers with their second team foul. They double up on Pippen. Right played on a switch, gives it back to Pippen, and he's hit by Duckworth. That's 3 on Duckworth.
Portland did a nice job of double teaming. They rotated out to Bill Cartwright, who normally hits that baseline jump shot for Chicago. There's the double, there's the step out baseline jumper situation, but then it's the give and go opportunity that Pippen creates by moving without the basketball, and the nice return pass from Cartwright.
Foul rundown for Portland, 3 apiece on Kersey, Duckworth, Drexler, and Robinson. for the Bulls, 3 on Cartwright. So the Bulls having their troubles at the line.
And perhaps, again, the wrist affecting the free throw shooting of Scottie Pippen.
Portland with the ball. They lead by 8. Paxson for Pippen.
Well, the calcium deposit certainly isn't in Scottie Pippen's ankles because he has the rise. Paxson just laid it out there for him.
Portland by 6. Kersey. But Williams hustled it down. Porter lost it, but he was fouled.
And let's go back. First, take a look at the transition game of the Chicago Bulls. Paxson knows Pippen's running. Now it's just a matter of putting it up there for Scottie to finish it off. But as soon as that play took place, what happened was that Kersey took a bad shot. Pippen on the fly shows the hand. It means that he wants the basketball. When Portland came back, Kersey took an off-balance, hurried shot, and that's not what you want in that situation when the crowd is roaring for Chicago.
Porter pulling his way, yes, and it counts. Terry Porter hitting on the drive. He drew the foul. Paxson called for his second.
This was a big question coming into the series. Porter's strength, his ability to turn the corner against either Paxson or his backup, B.J. Armstrong. Rick kind of likes it because he knows it's one of the few times that Porter has used his strength to overpower the point guard and take it to the basket as opposed to just settling for jump shots.
And Terry Porter has had an excellent playoff run, turning it up from what has to be considered as a subpar regular season, but on a roll during the playoffs. 9-point Portland lead. Cartwright comes back to Jordan. 20 for Jordan. Blazers by 7. Blazers get down in a hurry. Here's Drexler. So Portland beginning to fly all over the court.
And what's happening is by getting it in quickly, getting it down the floor, you wind up with some mismatches for Chicago. The wrong guys winding up on the wrong people.
Holding foul. Duckworth came over to help out. Drexler contesting Jordan. And it's called on Drexler. That is his 4th. Rick Adelman taking a timeout. 8:12 remaining in the third. Portland leads by 9. Back in Chicago, 242nd consecutive sellout, better than 18,000 on hand. Clyde Drexler a moment ago picked up his 4th foul, and Rick Adelman is staying with him.
This is a very big decision on Rick Adelman's part. There are 8 minutes, 12 seconds remaining here in the third period. Up by 9 points. Your main man has his 4th foul. Do you rest him? Put him in. I personally would have taken him out at this point, tried to ride it out. Adelman knows his player better than anyone else. Clyde on the way over, motion to Rick. Hey, I'm fine. Leave me in. So now we'll see if Chicago tries to capitalize and go at Drexler when they're on offense, make him play D.
Clyde Drexler, 15 points, 7 assists. He has not shot well, 6 of 14, and he's hanging in with the 4 personals. Portland 61 and Chicago 54.
The extended press now with Grant on the ball. We mentioned a while ago we haven't seen it. They're getting into it now.
Earlier in the playoffs, we rarely saw that extended press being utilized by the Bulls. Here's Porter and tipped home. Clyde Drexler with the tip. The Blazers lead 63-54. 7:40 remaining in the third quarter. Jordan with the room. Yes. 24 from Michael Jordan.
That's the second time now that Chicago's used that guard screen, a little split series that Jordan's wound up with an open jumper.
Kersey through the double team. Duckworth rebounded by Grant. Kevin Duckworth not shooting well. Here's Jordan giving it back. Paxson for three. Yes. John Paxson with his second three-pointer. He's brought the Bulls within 4. Drexler goes glass. Cartwright with the rebound. Jordan puts the move on. Finds Paxson for three. Yes!
Jordan tried to set this shot up for Paxson from the beginning of his move. He wanted middle of the floor, right about here. Watch. Middle, no. He goes right, still knows that Paxson's waiting for him, eventually gets it to him after he drew the defense away from the intended shooter. Go left, no, I'll draw the defense to me, then I'll go up, and I'll still know where he is after looking off Drexler with the head fake, eye fake, and then Paxson in the groove now, feels it, knocks out his back-to-back threes.
Chicago in the midst of a 10-2 run. The last minute and a half, John Paxson bringing back memories of Game 5 against the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Final last season when he was on fire. Pippen picked it off. The Bulls in the midst of a run. They've come back from a 9-point deficit, trailing by 1. Here's Jordan. Rebounded by Kersey. Good box out by Jerome Kersey. Drexler, yes, and it counts. A gorgeous move by Clyde Drexler, and the foul committed by Michael Jordan.
Because he has 4 fouls, Drexler a little hesitant to take it all the way to the basket, so he's pulling up right now, trying to knock out the jumper. Jordan went for that swipe with the hand in there, instead got armed. Big shot for Clyde Drexler.
It's a 3-point play for Clyde. He has 20. Portland leads 66-62.
So that's a 3-point play and a follow-up layup for Drexler since Adamwood had to make the decision whether to take him out or leave him in the game.
Jordan. And the Blazers by 2.
Porter winds up on Jordan. Because of the fouls on Drexler, they cannot afford to have him pick up his 5th, but they had done it in the first half as well. So Porter is used to playing Michael Jordan. He's done it in the past.
Kersey from long range. 8 points for Kersey. Portland leads by 4. So Clyde Drexler now back on Michael Jordan, and they isolate Jordan. Pippen with the tip. Buck Williams with the rebound, very aggressively. And Buck thought he was fouled. Pippen trying to pick it off. It will be Portland ball.
In that matchup, Porter against Jordan, a few words taking place as they come down the floor. Michael probably letting Terry know that he might have some difficulties in trying to guard him in the low post area.
And Jordan has turned it up here in the third quarter, 4 of 7, 11 points, and we still have 5 minutes to go in the third. 26 for Jordan overall. Drexler with 20. Cartwright jumping out, they double up and leaves Duckworth free. Kevin Duckworth taking advantage. He has 10. Portland leads 70-64. They double up on Jordan. Pippen. Rebound, Pippen.
While all this is taking place, the one guy that's hanging out behind the three-point line, clapping his hands, is John Paxson, saying, "Don't forget about me."
Here's a 3 thrown up by Drexler. Bulls on the run. Portland able to get back. Paxson for three. Yes! Oh, the Czar on target as Paxson brings Chicago within one with his fourth from downtown.
Isolation now for Drexler. They cleared the side out, but he gave the ball up before he tried to make it happen.
Here's Porter. It is waved off. 24-second violation.
Rick Adelman encouraging his team. Relax, calm down, try not to let this crowd affect you, but as we know, easier said than done.
And Rick Adelman has called for a timeout.
When you have penetrators like Jordan and Pippen leading the transition, if you're the shooter, you just drag behind, find your spot, and you know that they'll find you in transition for wide open jumpers.
John Paxson is on fire from three-point land. He's hit 4 out of 5. The Bulls not noted for their three-point shooting during the course of the regular season. Portland was number 4 in the NBA. Chicago 21st. They did not look for the shot. However, over the first 2 games, Portland has hit only 1 of 14 from three-point land. They're 0 for 8 tonight, while Chicago is 4 for 8. And the Blazers broke the NBA playoff record for a 6-game series for those three-point field goals against Utah. They hit 32. Paxson again. Rebounded by Cartwright. Portland with a 1-point lead. 3:25 to go in the third quarter. Now Drexler guarding Paxson. Last touch by Paxson. Good play by Drexler.
Yeah, the Bulls just couldn't get themselves back into their set offense that they wanted to run. They got caught kind of halfway in between. Pax tried to hit Pippen on that little inside shuffle cut. Just some bad hands, some fumbles that time. Lack of execution.
Robinson is back, being guarded by Horace Grant. Jordan on Drexler. Porter with the opening. Here's Pippen with the hesitation move that changed his mind. Jordan. Last touch by the TrailBlazers.
Well, Porter did his job. He ran at Michael, made him put it on the floor, and then Kersey stepped up to stop the penetration, and then Porter, dragging from behind, gets the deflection. In fact, something that Michael Jordan likes to do to players that he matches up against, from behind.
Excellent play by Terry Porter. Danny Ainge is back. They double up on Jordan. Again, Pippen is passing up on the outside shot. Grant. 2.5 remaining in the third. Portland with the ball. They lead by 1.
And Michael Jordan just yelled across to Horace Grant as he came back down. Keep your head up. Come on, he said. Come on, big guy. You can do it.
Another miss from downtown by the Blazers. 0 for 9 in the three-point department. A bit beyond three-point range. Jordan, yes. The foul.
You know, game 1 was three-point night. Game 2 must be right shoulder turn night for Michael because he's knocking everyone down.
Foul committed by Ainge. Jordan to the line, seeking his 29th point. Bobby Hansen replacing John Paxson, who receives the standing ovation.
The crowd understanding that it was Paxson that gave everyone the momentum to get the Bulls back in the game, and now the Bulls up 1 with Jordan at the foul line.
14 points for Paxson. Jordan completing the three-point play, and the Bulls take a 72-70 lead. Porter and Ainge work the backcourt now for Portland. Kersey, Williams, and Robinson up front. Hansen guarding Ainge. Robinson Hansen. Bobby Hansen played by Jerome Kersey. Scott Williams. Scott Williams, coming off a 6 for 6 on Wednesday, has been gaining the confidence with the outside shot. Kersey and Pippen able to get to it. Chicago by 4 as we come up to 1 minute remaining in the third.
The post-up of Jordan against the smaller Porter.
Horace Grant getting it back out. Here's Scottie Pippen. And the charge is called.
Chicago 33.
That's 3 on Pippen.
Michael reversed the ball over to Pippen. Pippen on his way to the basket, knows he's in trouble, tries to throw it back, but too late. Defensive player had established his position.
The Bulls in the midst of a 10-0 run. 40 seconds left in the third. Ainge working off the pick. Chicago will hold for 1.
Since Chicago has taken over 72-70, 1 jump shot by Robinson, 1 jump shot by Kersey, 1 jump shot by Danny Ainge, 3 straight jumpers, nothing down inside to stop Chicago.
Hansen for 3. Bobby Hansen hits the 3. Final seconds. That's the end of the third. The Bulls by 7. They close the quarter with 13 unanswered points. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station.
Only played in 66 games this year, about 11 minutes a game, a lot of garbage time. He's a 26% three-point shooter, but comes off the bench to knock one out. The people in Chicago love Bobby Hansen because he's a blue-collar kind of guy. The players know how much this means to come from a situation like Sacramento, come here with a chance to win a championship.
And the fourth quarter getting underway. The Bulls doubled up on the Blazers in the third. Portland shot only 7 for 20 from the field in the third quarter, 35%. Chicago 12 for 22, 55%. And Robinson going to the hoop was fouled. Scott Williams called for the personal.
It's the first time since the score was 72-70 that Portland has taken it to the basket. And this is what we mean when we say you have to stop the momentum by getting to the free throw line. You stop the clock, you get a chance to put some points on the board. You don't allow those long rebounds to come off when you shoot the perimeter jumpers, and then Chicago's out running against you.
Change on that foul call. It was Grant, not Williams. And there you see the poor shooting by Portland in game 1 in the third quarter. Portland shot 5 for 21. Getting back to the subject of the seldom used Bobby Hansen, 9-year man from Iowa, but who also contributed in game 1 and heard the cheers. Bobby said he feels he's kind of like Ross Perot. He said the less he does, the less he says, the more popular he becomes. A political statement from Bobby Hansen. Jordan warding off the double team. Here's Hansen. His pass picked off by Drexler. Ainge gives it back. Drexler is fouled.
2 times Portland's put it on the floor, twice to the basket, twice the opportunities to go to the free throw line.
That number 3 on Michael Jordan. Clyde Drexler playing with 4 fouls. Rick Adelman going with Ainge and Porter at the guards. Drexler up front with Robinson and Buck Williams. Chicago concluding the third quarter with 13 consecutive points. Kevin Duckworth returns. And Buck Williams sitting down. 13 points for Buck, along with 7 rebounds. 22 for Drexler. The Bulls 77. And the Blazers 72. Portland trying to tie the series at 1 with Game 3 coming up Sunday night in Portland. Jordan backing Drexler. It was triple team. Pippen for 3. And Scott Williams came away with it. 3 Blazers converging on Jordan as he started the post-up move on Drexler in that previous possession. Shot clock at 8. Jordan checked the 24. It's down to 5. Michael Jordan with 31. The Bulls 79. The Blazers 72. Drexler making the move, and he'll go back to the line. Foul committed by Scott Williams. Oh, fine. The Chicago Bull blimp, I believe, Czar, is stuck within the lighting apparatus.
I hope that does not get heated up too much and we have a small explosion.
Perhaps Ahmad can go check it out.
We don't hear Ahmad volunteering for anything, do we?
Drexler is 7 for 7 from the line. Minute and 40 gone by in this fourth quarter. The Chicago lead is 5. Portland led by as many as 9 in the first half. And Chicago, by virtue of that late run in the third, took a 7-point lead. Jordan from deep. Oh! And a loose ball foul is called. Here's Kersey indicating the call. We still do not have it. And apparently the foul was called on Pippen. Timeout taken. We'll be right back.
Presents Genuine Moments.
Well, today's Miller Genuine Draft Genuine Moment takes us back to Game 2 of last year's NBA Finals. Michael Jordan at his spectacular best as he led his Chicago Bulls to the NBA Championship. The Bulls over the Lakers in 5. In recognition of that memorable moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Change on that last foul. It was not called on Pippen. It was Ainge. As we go to the Czar.
And Danny Ainge knew he was going to have problems, so you use every possible way you can to try and keep Pippen off the glass. Uh-oh, you're not allowed to do that in the NBA. Holding him on his sore wrist. Come on, Danny.
So Danny Ainge picks up his third, and he will sit down. Buck Williams returns. And now Phil Jackson going with a 3-guard alignment. He has Hanson, Paxson, and Jordan on the floor. And Duckworth is out chasing Jordan, who fouled Grant. It counts, and the foul.
And what Phil Jackson is doing is he's resting Pippen right now. He'll get a minute and a half along with the timeout time. Jordan will run the show, and then you will see Pippen come back in shortly. It'll give Jordan a little bit of a rest, and then both players will be on the floor to finish the game for Chicago.
Terry Porter called for the foul. Horace Grant to the line for the first time. He has 9 points, 11 rebounds. Another solid game for Horace Grant. Bulls by 8, 9 Trailblazers want a goaltend. The foul is called on Chicago, and the basket will not count. It's number 4 on Grant.
If the ball was on the way down when Williams got it, it's a goaltend. It was not. It was on the way up. Good call. And Jess Kersey checked with his fellow officials to see if they had a better look at it. Is it going up? Yes, it is. It's still on the way up when Williams blocks it to save the 2. Kersey took his time, walked out from under the basket, looked at his other officials. They said no goaltend. He then went ahead and made the call to the table.
Buck Williams, 4 of 4 from the line. And Buck Williams has made himself into a very decent free throw shooter, 75% for the season. Recall his early years with the New Jersey Nets when he really had his difficulties at the line.
And he gives credit to Danny Ainge for changing his alignment on his feet, and also Walter Davis spent time working with him and have really, the biggest thing, it's developed the confidence in the fact that he can go and make free throws.
Bulls lead at 82-76. Very unusual group on the floor for Chicago with the 3 guards out there. Hansen, Jordan, and Paxson.
And you can see Bobby Hansen doesn't want to do too much to mess things up. Just play defense, and then when it comes to me, Lamato, pass it back to Michael right away. Let him do something. Let him be the creator.
And we get the call away from the ball. Paul Mahalik indicating the foul on Hansen. Cliff Levingston getting set to come on.
Well, Hansen giving up too much size. Robinson 6'10", Hansen down in the low post, just trying to put a body on him. But the move is to get Hansen and make the substitution. Hansen goes back to the bench, bring Levingston in, who's much more accustomed to playing the bigger, more physical guys down low.
Hansen sitting down with 3 points. He hit that 3-pointer. Cliff Robinson is now 3 of 7 from the line. Michael Jordan also getting a rest. Robinson only 66% from the foul line. He is now 3 of 8. 3 minutes in, 4th quarter. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad from Chicago Stadium. Game 2 of the best of 7 NBA Championship Series. Grant for Levingston.
They know right where they're supposed to be, that people are willing to share the basketball, and then they make the right decisions, and their execution is terrific.
Drexler hits the floor. He is fouled.
Chicago, personal foul, 53, Levingston.
As soon as the ball goes inside, Grant turns, looks to the lane, knows he has a double team, and there's the 2-on-1 offensively. Livingston and Williams against Buck on the weak side.
Livingston called for his second. I don't think Clyde Drexler appreciated the hard foul. 25 for Drexler. Now Robinson sitting down. Kersey is back. Clyde 10 of 10 from the foul line. The Bulls by 6. That's a rare 2-pointer for John Paxson, who has 4 3-point field goals, 16 for Paxton. Remember, a year ago, he had that blistering finish in the NBA Final, 10 points the last 4 minutes of the title-clinching game. Chicago leads by 8. Scottie Pippen is now running the team. Livingston and Williams up front. Livingston again from the outside. And Buck Williams on the rebound. Through the whistle.
A few moments ago, Paxson was wide open. How did he get open? Paxson starts down here. One screen comes, the second screen comes. That's called a staggered double to try and get your shooter open. You got to get a good piece of the defensive players. 1, 2, and a wide open shot.
That foul was called on Clyde Drexler, his 5th. So 5 on Drexler, and a timeout has been called.
Scottie Pippen causes you so many problems when you try to match up with him. Before, we saw Danny Ainge grab him on the wrist to try and keep him off the offensive boards. This time, Clyde has the assignment. Clyde has to use his own bag of tricks to try and keep Scottie off the glass. It's the hand holding the trunks right there. The foul called on Clyde Drexler. It's his 5th foul. One time, Pippen's dunking on you. The next time, he's the point guard running the show. Then he's going to the offensive boards. And Clyde says, wait a minute, how about him going over my back? The foul should have been on him, in my opinion.
Well, Rick Adelman was able to buy quite a bit of time with Drexler playing with 4, but now he has picked up his 5th, and he will stay on the floor, and he remains in the matchup with Jordan. Well, Cartwright will just return, and it knocked away. The Bulls with an 86-78 lead, 7:15 to go in the 4th quarter. Portland has missed its last 8 field goal attempts. That goes back to the last quarter. The rejection by Scott Williams, who has come up with another sparkling performance.
Well, the idea is right. Go down low inside, get a high percentage shot, but then it's the outstanding team defense that saves another basket for the Bulls.
Scott Williams with the block. He has 9 rebounds. Horace Grant leading in the rebounding department with 11. Shot clock at 10. Drexler played by Pippen. Here's Porter. Oh, a high arcing jumper by Terry Porter. That was headed for the ceiling here at Chicago Stadium. First field goal of the 4th quarter for the Blazers. And they are down by only 6.
You can see it's not a normal position for Scott Williams, the decision-making spot. Instead of Cartwright being in that low post, it wound up being Scott Williams. He didn't like what he saw, so he called for the 20.
So the 22nd timeout was taken. Game number 3 of this best of 7. In Portland on Sunday night. Airtime right here on NBC, 7 o'clock in the East, 4 p.m. Pacific time. That'll be Sunday night, Game 3 of the NBA Championship Series.
As soon as they came over to Phil Jackson, he turns to Cartwright and said something to Bill, and I would probably guess it was along the lines of, Bill, you have got to take that post-up spot. Young guys, young players in the league, you don't want to put too much responsibility. With Williams, tell him, go to the glass, rebound, block shots, and then we'll run the offense through Big Bill.
Portland has 3 timeouts left, Chicago 4. Both teams have used their 20s. Shot clock at 3. Jordan was hacked. Michael Jordan. Hit on the arm. They say a non-shooting foul. Well, it has certainly been a marquee matchup tonight. 26 for Drexler after the slow start. He's come on. A very steady game for Jordan with 31. Scott Williams hearing it from the crowd as he's replaced by Horace Grant.
Clyde 8 for 18, but 10 for 10 from the free throw line. Michael 5 for 5 from the line, 13 for 26 from the floor.
Illegal defense called for the first time. So the Bulls get a new 24. Rick Adelman in his 4th season, head coach of Portland. First captain of the Trailblazers, going back to the original days of the Portland franchise. Pippen. He has not been hitting the outside shot and actually has been turning it down. Strong move by Terry Porter. Have to wonder about the wrist injury of Scottie Pippen. He's 5 for 15 and he's changed his game. Still very effective, but not doing it from the outside. Cartwright. 3rd field goal, 8 points for Bill Cartwright. Chicago by 8. rejected by Grant. Good hands by Kersey to break it up. At the 4th blocked shot for Horace Grant.
Great recognition. The Bulls know when their teammates are in trouble. Grant knew that Michael had been taken in too deep. He comes over, makes the rotation, gets the block.
So Grant with his 4th rejection. Chicago has 5. Scott Williams with the other. Crowd wants Jordan to go, and Drexler's playing with 5. Duckworth came over to help, and Jordan somehow was able to hit.
And Clyde didn't even put his hand up that time. He was counting on help from his teammates. They were coming, but then again, you know who was taking the shot.
33 for Jordan. Drexler rebounded by Cartwright. Paxson. Portland trailing by 8, just under 5 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. Now chanting for defense, and they got the defensive play. Pippen with a steal, and he was fouled. Clyde Drexler called for number 6.
Told his team coming into this series that you must come and meet the basketball, that Chicago will continue to challenge the passing lanes. Just what Pippen does, shoots the passing lane, the foul by Drexler. A look at the two stars. Jordan shooting the jumper, and watch Drexler. He does not want to pick up the 6th foul. He keeps his hands down and relies on Duckworth coming over, but Michael brings it down and shoots it off his right shoulder. But unfortunately, just a few moments later, Drexler does pick up the 6th foul, is out of the game for the Portland TrailBlazers.
Rick Adelman was able to buy quite a bit of time with Drexler playing with 4, and then he stayed with him after he picked up his 5th. Clyde came on after a slow start, finishes with 26 points, 8 for 20 from the field, 10 of 10 from the line, 6 rebounds and 8 assists.
Well, when Drexler picked up his 5th foul, there really was no decision. You had to leave him on the floor. You're down 8 points to Chicago. Just over 7 minutes remaining in the game. You play it out. He had done a great job of playing with the 4 fouls earlier in the game. So Rick had the confidence in him. There really wasn't much else he could do. He needed his main man out there. You're not saving him for next game.
Scottie Pippen with another impressive stat line. He has 14 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. 4:25 remaining in the 4th. And the foul was called on Jordan. That's 4 on Jordan.
Every first pass is contested by Chicago. This is the point that Adelman was trying to make. You just can't pop out easy. You have to pop out hard and meet the basketball because they're trying to challenge those first entry passes.
And a technical foul called on Jordan, who argued the call. Terry Porter will shoot the tee. He's only 2 of 4 from the line. Normally 86% free throw shooter. And that the first technical foul over the first 2 games.
Michael didn't like the fact that the foul was called because he felt he was working hard at denying the basketball and nothing else more than that. Says a little bit too much, says Kersey. Rewards him with technical.
Both clubs are now over the foul limit. 16 points for Porter. The TrailBlazers are down by 8. Well, Jordan continuing his discussion with Jess Kersey.
Except the end of it now, they were both smiling at the end of the discussion. Michael turned it back around, got him back on his good side.
But I got the idea neither really amused. Bulls by 7. 4:15 left in the 4th. Cartwright wide open.
That whole play was set up to isolate Jordan against Ainge, then just by the Bulls going to their right spots and knowing that Jordan would draw attention, he then picks out the open man.
The Bulls have received a major contribution from Bill Cartwright. 4 of 5, 10 points. Good follow. Kersey thought he was fouled. That's 10 for Kersey. Chicago 94 and Portland 87. Pippen unhappy with the hand checking of Kersey. Jordan backing Ainge. Pippen. Last touched by Chicago.
Michael Jordan that time did exactly what he wanted to. He got the people to come to him. He knew exactly where Pippen was. And then after Pippen released, you can see Michael kind of feeling bad for the fact that he knows Scotty just doesn't have the arc tonight in the shot. He's got that line drive trajectory to the basket.
Duckworth gave it up. Crowd wanted to travel. Kersey rejected by Grant. 5 block shots for Horace Grant.
You put it on the floor, you're going to draw attention from Chicago's defense. They're always on the way to help out a teammate when he's in trouble.
6 on the 24. Ainge will throw in. Oh, what a shot by Terry Porter. The Blazers very much alive, down by only 5.
Porter got that up over the top of an outstretched Michael Jordan that time. Not an easy shot.
2:45 remaining in the fourth. Foul called on Ainge. Portland over the limit. Jordan to the line. Fourth committed by Danny Ainge. Michael Jordan is 5 of 5 from the foul line. He's an 83% free throw shooter. .34 for Jordan. Clyde Drexler fouled out just moments ago. Played in foul trouble most of the second half. The Bulls 95, the Blazers 89. They double up on Duckworth. Phil Jackson wanted to travel. Porter for 3. Picked up by Buck Williams. Offensive foul.
After the scramble for the loose ball, Buck Williams dips that right shoulder. Pippen just holds his ground, hopes that he'll draw the offensive foul call, and gets it at the end. And Buck just keeps saying, how? How can this happen again?
.224 remaining in the fourth quarter. The three-point field goal, a weapon for Portland against Utah, has not been going in the same direction in this series. 0 for 12 for the Blazers from three-point land. And Terry Porter, who was on fire from downtown, 0 for 7 in the 2 games, 0 for 5 tonight. Bulls by 6. Jordan slicing through again, setting up Cartwright. Shot clock at 4. Jordan had to force it. A rare air ball tossed up by Michael Jordan. Here's Porter. Fouled by Jordan. That is his 5th.
Jordan knows that he must stop the layup, tries to get it from behind the head, but gets a little bit too much arm that time.
So Terry Porter back to the line. He's 5 of 7 from the line. Clyde Drexler has already fouled out. Mike Michael Jordan now playing with 5 with a minute 52 to go in the fourth. And the Trailblazers are down by only 5.
Looks like Michael got a little bit too much of that right wrist on Porter as he went to the basket. Terry trying to shake that right wrist off his shooting hand.
Blazers 26 of 33 from the foul line. Chicago 14 of 20. Barry Porter hitting the free throws down the stretch, and he's brought his club within 4.
One of the differences in the NBA, in the end, you must continue to play. That 24-second clock keeps running. You can't sit on a 4-point lead. Got to attack, keep your offense going, get good shots.
Paxson. Rebounded by Kersey. Minute and a half remaining. Portland down by 4. Shot clock to 10. Ames with the scoop. And the Portland Trailblazers have moved within 2 with a minute 15 remaining in the fourth.
Well, do you send Michael down low in the post against Porter? Do you give him an isolation or the ball at the top of the circle, or stay within your triangle offense?
Shot clock at 7. Paxson forced it. Rebounded by Kersey. Portland in the midst of an 11-3 run. Ames feeding Kersey, and they've tied the game at 95. 45 seconds remaining. In the fourth quarter, the Blazers have come from way back to tie it at 95.
Clyde Drexler, but then you're able to bring out a guy with a lot of experience in Danny Ainge. He's been in a lot of big games, and he helps you a number of ways. Breaks down the defense and scores with the clock running down, and then sees the entire floor, finds an open Kersey going to the basket, ties the score.
Portland has come back from a 10-point deficit. Chicago led 92-82 with 4:36 remaining. A 13-3 run by the Blazers. 35 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Michael Jordan. Oh, what a move by Jordan. Hanging and hitting to give Chicago a 97-95 lead. And Portland calls for time.
Sometimes you're only open for a moment, and they almost missed that moment because Duckworth came over on the recovery, but somehow he was able to get it through. You see, he's open and waiting. Porter doesn't want to foul. Duckworth tries to get a piece of him, but Michael finds a way to score the ball.
Portland down to 1 timeout remaining. Chicago with 2 left.
Going back to the last couple of sequences of plays, you have to think about what had happened. Chicago's up 4. Paxson takes the shot. Portland scores. It's a 2-point game. Chicago comes down. Paxson misjudges the 24-second clock. Hurries his shot, misses again. So 2 key possessions. You got John Paxson taking the big shots. It's not in Pippen's hands. It's not in Jordan's hands. You reorganize, you take a timeout, you come out, you run a play. Who does it? Michael Jordan, the guy that should be doing it at the end of a game. There it is. He's open. Hurry up and get it to him before they recover. How he does it. Incredible.
36 for Jordan, 15 in the first half, 21 in the second half. The timeout taken immediately by the Trailblazers. Rick Adelman did not believe what he saw.
Well, he did about everything he could with his eyes, his nose, his mouth, his head, his shoulders, his hands to help stop Michael from scoring, but even 3 guys and all that couldn't get it done there.
All right, the Bulls with a 2-point lead. From Rick Adelman's point of view, what's the play?
Well, let's go back a year ago when LA was in a similar situation. They kicked it out for a 3-point shot, and Sam Perkins knocked out the big 3. Do you take 2 and try and tie, or 3 for the win on the road?
6-second differential on the 24. Cartwright jumping out. Here is Duckworth. Yes! A clutch bucket by Kevin Duckworth. He's tied the game at 97. Chicago takes a timeout with 13 and 2/10 seconds remaining.
They ran the pick and roll, and the great job is done by Porter, keeping his dribble alive, able to clear the two defenders, and Grant tried to rotate over, but he's just a little bit too late coming because Duckworth is able to catch, square up, get a real good look, and then a nice follow through. That's his shot, the step back baseline jumper. He's not a big guy that rolls to the basket. He steps back to get a look at the 12-footer.
Kevin Duckworth, local product from nearby Harvey, Illinois, and that has to feel awfully good. In particular, coming off all the criticism that he took for the Portland elimination by the Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference Final a year ago. A 15-5 run overall by Portland to make up the deficit. Chicago at one stretch led by as many as 10.
Well, if you're in the huddle right now and you're Rick Adelman, you're saying to your players, look, we've got to be prepared for the spread offense. 4 guys along the baseline, Michael Jordan with the ball in the middle, him trying to go one-on-one and either create the last shot for himself or kicking it out to an open teammate. So you decide your matchup, you decide if you're going to double team him or play him straight up. If you're Phil Jackson, you're reminding your team, one, where do you want to take it out of bounds, on the baseline or at half court? What do you want to run to get it inbounds? How many timeouts each team has left, and the fact that we want to get the last shot of this game to either win it or then go into overtime. We don't want to give Portland a chance to go back and shoot before the game is over.
The Bulls have 1 timeout remaining. Portland has 1 left. 13 and 2/10 seconds to go in this 4th quarter. The Bulls and the Blazers tie. 97.
And this is where some key matchups will take place. Some last-minute substitutions so that you have your best defensive players on the floor. If you're Portland, and your main offensive guys that can put it on the floor, break people down, and make shots if you're Chicago.
Down to 10. They spread out. Down to 5. Jordan played by Porter. Down to 2. Here's Jordan. We go to overtime. The Chicago Bulls and the Portland TrailBlazers tied at 97 at the end of regulation.
Chicago ran their spread. Jordan thought that he had the step, then pulled up, and he just didn't like the balance he had on the shot. You could tell as he walked off the floor.
We'll be back with the 5-minute overtime after these words. Back to Chicago Stadium. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, Bob Costas, Quinn Buckner. And we're headed to overtime in Game 2 of this best-of-7 NBA Final. The Chicago Bulls led by as many as 10 with 4.5 remaining. Portland 2 up, 4 down this season in overtime, including the double overtime losses to the Bulls and to the Celtics. Remember that game in Boston mid-March, 152-149, a sensational game. And Chicago 2-1 in overtimes. One of them the victory over the Portland TrailBlazers. The last time an NBA Finals game went into OT last season. Game 3 between the Bulls and Lakers. Chicago won it by 8.
You get the feeling that Scottie Pippen has been so hampered by that wrist that he has just stopped trying to do the creative things offensively. He's struggling, trying to beat people off the dribble.
Michael Jordan is playing with 5 fouls. Clyde Drexler has fouled out. Jordan being guarded by Porter. We're underway in the 5-minute overtime. Jordan checking the shot clock. Down to 4. 2 and hits 38 for Jordan. The Bulls by 2. Porter lost the dribble off his foot and able to recover. Nice pass from Ames, but Williams could not hit. Pippen lost it. Wild scramble at both ends. Ames for Kersey. Williams, and the game is tied at 99.
Well, it worked out very well in the end, but Ainge had the wide open shot, then tried to hit his cutting teammate, the fumble, but then the recovery and score.
17 points, 11 rebounds for Buck Williams. Cartwright, and nowhere to go. Played well by Duckworth. Shot clock at 5. Paxson. John Paxson had the hot hand early, in particular from three-point range. Last touch by the Bulls.
That was Michael Jordan sticking the hand in, knocking it out of bounds. Good call.
Rick Adelman staying with Ainge, who's played well, and Porter, who's come on. Duckworth, Williams, Kersey up front.
This is a lot of minutes for John Paxson. He normally does not play this many minutes in a basketball game, but he was going so well, Phil Jackson had to stay with him, and I'm wondering if fatigue is setting in right now on his last 3 shots.
Danny Ainge has hit 5 out of 8 for 10 points, and he's given Portland a 101-99 lead. We come up on 3 minutes left in the overtime. Pippen. Someone got a piece of it. Grant is fouled. Foul committed by Jerome Kersey. He commits his 5th.
Well, now it's the shot blocking ability of Portland that saves the first attempt and then almost stops the second follow-up attempt by Grant. Kersey with the foul.
Horace Grant, 1 for 1 from the free throw line. He is a 74% free throw shooter. Scott Williams will check in. He's not played in a while, replacing Bill Cartwright, at least with 10 points.
Terry Porter is paying attention to Michael Jordan because Jordan likes to sprint in from the top of the circle and try and come up with missed free throws. So you must face him. Keep an eye on Jordan so he doesn't lose you with the fake. That time he knew Porter was there paying attention. He made no move.
Portland with a 1-point lead. Just under 3 minutes to go in overtime. Scott Williams defending against Kevin Duckworth. Duckworth, another big bucket for Kevin Duckworth.
Scott Williams just twisted his right ankle that time, and Duckworth made the move. Williams went down.
Blazers by 3, looking to tie the series at 1. Here's Williams, and he drew the foul. Kersey off the fake, ended up going over Williams. And Kersey is fouled out. He leads with 12 points and 8 rebounds. Cliff Robinson checks back in.
Michael spots Scott underneath, the ball fake, gets Kersey in the air, and then Kersey just trying to hold on so he doesn't come down and hurt himself severely. Williams stepping underneath, takes the legs away. Now Kersey's just trying to hang on to prevent a more serious fall.
Scott Williams, only a 65% free throw shooter. Not gone to the line frequently. So Drexler and Kersey fouled out. Ainge with 4, Jordan with 5, Grant has 4. First appearance at the line for Scott Williams, second-year man from the Tar Heels of North Carolina. 3 points, but the big number in the Williams stat line, 9 rebounds.
And that's from the bench. Jerome Kersey talking to Hugh Evans on the baseline. Hugh telling him, you should have boxed out. Kersey said, I did box out.
Is that what he said?
Exactly.
It's amazing how you can pick up these conversations.
Read that on the screen.
2:27 remaining in overtime. And the Bulls continue to have trouble at the line. Crowd looking for a traveling violation. Portland leads by 2. Again, the battle between Duckworth and Williams. Nice pass from Duckworth. Danny Ainge executing to give Portland a 105-101 lead. And Phil Jackson calls for a timeout.
Play that the crowd reacted to, they felt that Buck Williams had touched out of bounds with the ball in his hand. He goes after the rebound on his way. If the foot touches down and the ball is still in possession of his hand, then he's out of bounds. The crowd was correct.
Buck Williams has turned it around from a foul play, invisible game on Wednesday night. 17 points, 13 rebounds. He's hit 6 of 8 from the field. The Blazers 105 and the Bulls 101 with 2 minutes and 6 seconds to go in this overtime. Michael Jordan with 38 points. He's hit 16 of 31. Clyde Drexler, who fouled out in the fourth quarter, departed with 26. Scottie Pippen has not shot well, 5 of 17. Jordan posting Porter. Duckworth over to help. Jordan squeezing inside and draws the foul. He went 1 on 3.
Well, right now Chicago is starting out in their offensive set, but they quickly come away from it, and what it winds up is the ball in Michael Jordan's hands. You're talking about drawing some attention. Porter's playing him. Now as he makes his move, there's Duckworth. There's 3. Buck. There's 4. Robinson. I mean, only guy not involved is Ainge. He just wants to take off on the fast breaks.
Robinson called for the foul. Jordan 7 of 8 from the line. Portland leads by 3. 1:49 remaining in overtime.
Now Porter's paying attention to Pippen at the top of the circle, because last time Pippen made his move for the basket. This time Porter boxes.
So Michael Jordan has missed a couple of free throws in the closing moments. Blazers with the ball and a 3-point lead. Ainge. Porter for 3. Yes! Terry Porter able to hit the 3. Portland had missed their previous 12 from downtown.
Now you have to start to hurry up if you're Chicago. You don't have time to run all the options. Get shots up, get on the glass, try and get some offensive rebounds in there.
Blazers by 6, 1:15 to go in overtime. Paxson for a 3-pointer. He's been off. He's missed his last 5 shots.
And give credit to Terry Porter, who came out and challenged him, did not give him a real clean look.
Oh, what a pass from Porter, finding Ainge. And the Portland Trailblazers with a dramatic come-from-behind effort, trailing by as many as 10 with 4.5 minutes remaining in regulation, have come from way back, and they now lead by 8 as the Bulls take the timeout.
Well, the guy who gets the assist is Michael Jordan for tipping it over, but after the series that he just finished up against Utah, it was just a matter of time before Terry Porter found it on the 3-point range, and then Ainge, moving without the ball again, gets another easy deuce for Portland. Rick Alleman has kept his poise the entire evening, but it just gets to the point where he has to let it go too. He knows his team has just come back, has a tremendous victory right there within reach. Now they just got to hang in, play good defense, and take good shots at the offensive end.
And folks in Portland may be throwing back the Phil Jackson statement made back in March regarding the Portland Trailblazers self-destructing down the stretch in close ball games. They may throw it right back at Phil, because that has certainly not been the case with the Trailblazers here tonight. Had a statement that upset Rick Alleman and the Portland players, but it has been the other way around tonight. Pippen with the save, and the officials check it over. Paul Mahalik claimed he had the better view, and he says last touched by the Bulls. The Blazers have outscored the Bulls 28-10. Timeout is taken. Since late in the fourth quarter, Chicago had led 92-82 with 4:36 remaining. A 28-10 turnaround, and they've done it all without Clyde Drexler, who had fouled out. 55 seconds to go in the overtime. A portion of the crowd filing out here. with the Bulls down 110-102.
To show you what can happen in the excitement of a game, when that ball went out of bounds and it was awarded to Portland, the man passing it in, Buck Williams, is not allowed to move. That's a spot throw-in. His teammate, Danny Ainge, was trying to get free on the floor, and Danny was pointing along the baseline to Buck as if to say, you can run the baseline and throw me a pass. But Buck was not allowed to run the baseline because it's a spot throw-in. So Buck had the presence enough to call the timeout, be sure that everybody knows what they want to do. Good decision, so you don't make a mistake and give Chicago an easy score or the ball back again.
Well, the scene will shift to the Memorial Coliseum in Portland on Sunday for Game 3 of this best of 7. And we'll be on hand starting at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Pacific. The Bulls and the Blazers. The Portland TrailBlazers with a regular season record of 57-25. Chicago with the best record of the NBA, 67-15. They swept Miami in 3 straight, taken through that difficult 7-game series by the Knicks. Did not have an easy time with Cleveland, beating the Cavaliers in 6. It has not been an easy time for the Bulls in the playoffs. In fact, Phil Jackson pointed out with the victory in Game 1 here against Portland for the first time since the Miami series, the Bulls had actually won 3 in a row in the playoffs.
Talking about guys stepping up for Portland in this game. You've got people like Duckworth, Buck Williams coming up 17 points and 13 rebounds after having a game of 3 points and 2 rebounds. Duckworth, the big J, Ainge off the bench, big contribution.
And as you saw, Michael Jordan sitting down, giving us the indication that the Bulls feel that this one is in the books. Scottie Pippen called for the foul, so Michael Jordan with 39 points, 16 for 32 from the field.
52 seconds is a lot of time left in the basketball game. There's still time to come up and make some things happen with the defense. And with the 3-point shot in this game, some crazy, wild things happen at the finish of NBA games.
Hansen giving the foul, and it puts Ainge at the foul line. The Bulls are over the limit now. Michael Jordan will report back.
That was so that someone could give a foul other than Michael Jordan. Jordan with 5 fouls. They couldn't afford to have Michael foul out of the game. So you put Hansen in the game. You tell them to take a foul. If they don't get a steal immediately, it stops the clock. Now you bring Michael back in for offensive purposes.
Danny Ainge, instrumental in this Portland comeback. He came on and played a major role with Clyde Drexler having fouled out. Ainge with 15 points. Danny Ainge has had the playoff experience as a member of the Boston Celtics. Spent 7 years with Boston, then on to Sacramento. This is second season with the TrailBlazers. Kevin Duckworth greeted by the Portland portion of the crowd. Terrific game for Duckworth, hitting a couple of clutch buckets. The shooting line will not look impressive, 6 for 15, but he had 14 points and hit 2 big ones. Down the stretch, Jordan coughed it up, and the ball goes back to Portland. Game 1 was not very pleasant for Kevin Duckworth. Members of his family showered with beverages here in Chicago, which certainly upset him and the entire Duckworth family. 19 for Buck Williams, and then Kevin got himself an early foul difficulty and never got into it. Here's Pippen, allowed to make the move to the bucket with 24 seconds remaining, and Portland up by 10. They foul Ainge again, so he will go to the line. Phil Jackson watching his team blow a 10-point lead, led by 10 with 4:36 remaining in the fourth quarter.
You know, normally during the course of the game, Paxson splits the time with B.J. Armstrong. They each get, you know, some combination of 26, 22, or 24, 24 minutes as they play. It's almost like Phil Jackson saves Paxson to get to the playoffs, and then John gets in one of those grooves and he uses it. Well, that's what happened tonight. He was in one of the grooves early, so you stay with him. BJ doesn't get a lot of minutes, his normal minutes, and then John is not able to knock him out down the stretch.
And how about Portland beating the Bulls at home? The Knicks did it. Cleveland came up with a victory here in Chicago against a team that went 36-5 at home. Final seconds. So the Blazers come away with a 115-104 victory over the Chicago Bulls. And they have evened the series at 1. Michael Jordan leading the way with 39. Clyde Drexler at 26. 19 for Buck Williams along with 13 rebounds. Danny Ainge with 17. 9 of the 17 in overtime. Again, the final. Portland in OT 115. Chicago 104. Join us Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Game 3 of the NBA Finals as we move on to Portland. Later tonight, following your late local news, it's The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, followed by an all-new Late Night with David Letterman and Friday Night Videos. For Mike Fratello and Ahmad Rashad, I'm Marv Albert. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.